This is truck traffic at the border crossing in Laredo, Texas. More than $3 billion worth of imports pass through this crossing alone every month, all headed north. Since the implementation of the North American Free Trade Agreement, the flow of imports from Mexico to the United States has exploded by more than 400% at just the Laredo crossing, as American manufacturers have rushed to take advantage of Mexico's cheap labor.
Ford Motor Company has made a decision to invest $9 billion in Mexico. And what this highway provides is a way for them to bring goods into the United States to be sold here with none of the jobs being located here.
Notre époque résonne telle une porte close. Et nous, comment fait-on? Sur quelle idée l'on se repose?
The country which has benefited most from NAFTA obviously is Mexico. Mexico has been able to get access to the US market, the world's biggest market. They're pretty lucky. I mean, Mexico and Canada are the two luckiest countries in the world because of geography, because they're on either side of the US border. There is a side agreement on labor which President Clinton put in, which says that in Mexico, unions have the right to exist and workers have the right to be unionized. So Mexico agreed essentially to match the standards for dealing with workers, which exist under law in the United States and Canada. US and Canada both have rights for unions. So Mexico agreed to that. So there was some concern about worker rights.
Tout demande ensuite si l'on peut revenir, si le temps peut sourire, s'il faut s'unir, s'il fallait recommencer, s'il fallait oublier. Je pense bien que je serai pas le dernier à regarder d'abord, à suivre, à être encore quand il faut devenir, ou s'il faut encore moins, car pour un qui s'en va. Mais quel est donc ce vent qui passe, qui me regarde et qui me glace? Notre époque résonne telle une porte close. Et nous, comment fait-on? Sur quelle idée l'on se repose?
And in the case of Mexico, the cradle of corn production, where corn was domesticated 6,000 years ago, we now have, genetically modified corn being grown in Mexico, whether people want to or not. We now have huge imports of U.S. corn into a country because the farmers are not competitive in a global sense. Productivity is very low, and farmers can't compete.
Notre époque résonne telle une porte close. Et nous, comment fait-on? Sur quelle idée l'on se repose? Notre époque résonne telle une porte close. Et nous, comment fait-on?
It's a huge factor. I mean, if you look at the increase in immigration numbers from Mexico following it, you have two factors. You have the implementation of NAFTA in '94, which coincided with a really significant economic downturn in Mexico in '94, '95. And to give you an idea, the average income levels in Mexico didn't reach the same level, the average income in '94, until 2006. It took 12 years for average incomes to catch up. So the confluence of NAFTA, which had a negative impact on agriculture and rural communities, and the economic crisis in Mexico were just two huge factors in pushing folks to migrate. And as we know that migration is is based on networks, right? So once people begin to move, there's more incentive, and it makes it easier for subsequent groups to move. So there's no doubt that NAFTA contributed to that.
so under NAFTA, it's not like the European Union. People cannot move between the countries legally. Only professional people, that is, people with a college degree, can apply to work in the other country. So professors can work in different countries, accountants, consultants. There's a listed set of professions, and that gives some mobility. But you can't reside permanently in the other country. You can work there for a job, and then you have to go back to your country. So the flaw in NAFTA is, in fact, it didn't deal with labor, and it didn't deal with immigration. But that's because Canada and Mexico probably feel dominated by U.S. and U.S. concerned about Mexican immigration, so they didn't want to go near that.